Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Let's Move Austin. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, and I'm here with your host.
That was fancy, Chris.
Yes, Teresa. I'm mixing it up for you.
All right.
Yeah, it's good. Let's talk about cold feet today. Let's talk about cold feet.
So yeah, that's something that we're actually having happen in the spring market here in Austin 2019. We're seeing kind of a pattern of some buyers getting cold feet and backing out of deals.
What the heck? Why are they getting cold feet? Is it still hot? Is the market still hot?
Yeah, the market's hot. In fact, a couple of the properties where the buyers have won the property and then kind of changed their minds, they were multiple offers. They were good properties. Wow. So I've had to do some thinking, and actually I have a group of other small brokers that we converse with and kind of look at market trends. And our informal analysis is that we as listing agents have some things we can do to help prevent buyers from backing out of our sellers' transactions, because nobody wants that. No one wants the excitement of, getting their house under contract and negotiating through that and then having it not, go to closing.
Yep. What an emotional roller coaster.
I think it's a little unconventional because people assume only the buyer's agent can influence what the buyer does, right? As listing agents, we don't have direct access to the buyers. We don't speak to them.
Right.
But there are some things that we can do to structure a negotiation and a transaction to, I'm going to call it sink the hook deeper in the buyer and be more sure about the transaction moving forward. So
I like it. Can you reveal these things?
No, I'm just going to tell you that it's out there. You have to call me. No, I can give you a little more.
Now you sunk the hook deeper in me. Now I want to know.
This is kind of top secret, though. This is not just your real estate 101. This is some high level stuff. So
I like it. I've come to expect that from you.
One thing is we have to be careful, especially when there is a property priced very well that clearly has a ton of showing activity and or multiple offers. We have to be careful that the buyer doesn't get too overexcited in the heat of thinking they've got to grab the property right now. Okay. So how do we do that if we don't talk to the buyer? You might ask, but now I'm doing your job too. So I'm asking.
It's good. I'll just sit here.
and here's the thing, as listing agents, we, in conversation with our sellers, can control the tempo of when a house hits the market to when we accept offers, maybe tell a certain date. We give it 1 day to think about the offers and then let everybody know. So if somebody has rushed to see the property and they didn't have a chance to arrange to bring their husband, their mother-in-law, their best friend, whoever would be the one in their ear. Yeah. Well, they could put their offer in excitement and still potentially have a couple days to, bring their team back and maybe, change their mind before it even happens.
Right.
So I think controlling the tempo of the initial listing to offers accepted phase is important.
That's smart. Yeah, I like it.
Another thing is to really investigate the pre-approvals or the financing information you get. Because sometimes we see a listing or a buyer's agent that is, so sure about the pre-approval letter or the proof of funds if it's cash, that we as a listing agent maybe didn't take the step to call that lender and have a conversation.
Yep.
Right? Because if you call the lender, you might hear something like, oh, did they decide on something again?
Right.
Oh, are they back in the market? Or you might find out they had a brief 5-minute conversation and this lender really hasn't reviewed any of their documents. So the potential for that buyer to then be surprised by their monthly payment estimate exists.
Right. That's good. I like this.
So there's small things, right? I mean, they'll change their mind, but we're trying to put a couple roadblocks in place to make sure that these buyers have had the chance to be more thorough.
Smart. That is,
I try. I want to protect my sellers.
Yeah. I like that. I like you're a very strategic thinker. I like that about you.
Thank you. Thank you.
What else? Other things?
Well, another thing is to make sure that we as listing agents are feeding the buyer's agents all the good information about the property. So that offer may have come in so fast, you didn't have time to do your full marketing blitz or finish the, 10 things I love about this property that your seller had given you, but you haven't typed up yet. Who knows?
Right.
Make sure that we as listing agents are reinforcing that neighborhood, that price. Because we can't expect the buyer's agent really knows the neighborhood or the property as well as we do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if then the buyer says to their agent, I'm not sure, I think that property, it might actually be too far from the pool. If I've already given that agent a map of the pools in the neighborhood, maybe that's something that they can easily pass on to the buyer and head that concern off at the pass because the information's been made easily available to the buyer's agent.
Yeah, it's really good. Give me a sense, because you're in the industry, right? So you can see you can see what's normal and what's the norm and what's not. But people listening to this wouldn't know. Like, is it very common for listing agents to not provide additional information?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, once that property is under contract, usually the listing agent's like, on to the next one, let me know when the inspection's done. But what if your listing went under contract and then 3 days later, 2 other houses on the same street went up for sale at lower prices?
Right. Yep.
Obviously that buyer is going to notice that because now they're driving by that street 3 times a day.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's one thing I always do is I set a search to alert me of any market activity around any of my listings on the same street or similar size in the same neighborhood so that I'm always watching the market and I'll be more likely to notice if we should be concerned.
Right. Yeah. It's really good. I love that. Yes. What else? Anything else?
Well, I think just being a really thorough communicator, it goes without saying, but yet I need to say it. The agent you work with needs to communicate with the other agent and the parties to a transaction. If things start getting difficult and the buyer's agent can't get a response from you, you will be doing your clients a disservice because you won't even know that there's a potential for cold feet happening.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, it's pretty obvious, but again, what the norm is, I think it's very common for people to just we submit the paperwork, we get the response, we don't, there's a lot of people that
you might hand it over to an assistant who's not really a skilled negotiator, or you may just respond by quick little text messages in which you miss the tone of why is someone asking these questions? We need to be respectful that this transaction is not done until it's done. And if you are too adversarial or standoffish, you can jeopardize it.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything you've said today is because we've experienced the other side of what happens when that doesn't happen. Your experience has brought you to this point where you've seen why these things are important and how to prevent cold feet. And there's just a lot of people. I mean, what's the turnover rate in real estate?
Oh, for realtors?
Yeah.
I don't even know. There's a lot of people that just spend a couple years in real estate.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that spend a lot of years as realtors, but they only do a couple deals a year. So there's a skill level that maybe doesn't get developed.
Yeah. And a lot of times the newer agents that just works out this way, that they work with buyers. It takes more skill to sort of land sellers to be able to work and communicate with sellers in a way that sellers feel confident in their house, right? So a lot of times buyers can be represented by somebody who's new that doesn't have this type of experience or perspective and know how to guide or lead their buyer client.
Yeah. So, and again, if I come at it where, my seller is going to walk all over you because you're new, that can actually backfire.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Just to
get the house sold.
Right. Just to point to the wisdom of experience, it does, you wouldn't say it. I'm saying it for you. There is wisdom and experience, and you've had.
It's not just wrinkles. There's wisdom in there.
There's wisdom in there. There is. But we can tell that. I think when people listen to you talk about it, people can tell.
Well, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. I do love what I do.
Good stuff. Well,
okay. So let's not have any more cold feet. Let's get ahead of it. Let's make sure our buyers really understand what they're buying and what it's going to cost, and then everybody will be happy.
Yes. And if people want to procure your services to help them protect against buyers with cold feet, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, you can call or text me, 512-297-3442.
Awesome. Good stuff, Teresa. Thank you. We'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, take care.